ticket.
All right, it's 5 o'clock on Idaho Sports Talk, and appreciate our video audience. This is our Dollar Loan Center video audience, so you can go find this on the KTIK YouTube channel, Prater, that we're trying to hype up. And if you're there, if you wouldn't mind giving a subscription, JP always gets really excited if even like 5 people subscribe during this segment, Prater. But we are talking Maddux Madsen, the quarterback of this Boise State football team. Before we get into the sexiest men in sports, I love this 5 o'clock, Prater.
Nice. Let's get after it. Is Madsen the sexiest guy on the football team?
Maybe.
He's got that Hollywood blonde hair.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know if people want to get in on that one.
That's probably not.
Probably not. Yeah, you're right. We don't want to go down that road,
No.
Prater. But we do want to go down the road with Maddux Madsen.
Absolutely.
On it, especially on his game against Nevada. You know, I thought he was poor. He was certainly inconsistent, Prater, and he talked about it. Maddux Madsen earlier today, guys, we met with him in the media, and your quarterback, Bronco Nation, talks about the Nevada game. Too many critical errors, but maybe not as bad as he first thought.
I was able to watch the game a little bit more in depth when it came to film. I don't know if I'd actually say it was my worst. There were certain things like big time critical errors is what I would say is kind of what made me feel like that. But moving forward, it was more like how can I focus on taking care of the ball like I have all year and kind of getting better in that aspect, especially this next game. They've got a good defense that likes to take the ball away. And so that was an aspect for sure that I focused in.
You know, we talked to Cutter and Spencer Danielson on Monday, and they threw wide receivers had some drops, wide receivers had some wrong routes, there were some coverage issues. So I think there was a lot of blame. Maddux was not good. He was not good. I don't know if it was his worst game, but he was definitely not good. And it's always good to go kind of clean it up and realize that there's a lot of team mistakes that happened in that particular game. But Maddux, no doubt, has to be better moving forward.
And I thought, one of the things, and you guys can text us or call 208-424-9300 if there's that one thing that you would love Maddux to stop doing. What is that one thing for you if he's frustrating you and you're watching him play every week like we are? But one frustrating thing, I think, for everybody last week, Prater, was that one wide receiver, Cam Camper, was able to catch a pass. Only a couple more were even targeted.
Yep.
Maddux Madsen, your quarterback, talked about that one receiver caught a pass against Nevada.
Yeah, 100%. Like you just said, we've got to have more guys get involved. And I don't know exactly the target sheet for sure compared to like the actual receptions, but I know it wasn't anything going in that we were like, we're going to get this just one guy passes like that. So the flow of the game kind of takes advantage of that stuff for sure. But there was opportunities that both I missed and that room missed, and we'll get better. And that's something I don't really get too worked up about or worried about just because I know exactly what we can do, and we're on a good path for sure.
All right, we're going to get to know Maddux a little bit, his Sunday routine, his girlfriend. We're going to kind of go behind the scenes and just kind of look at his life a little bit away from football. But let's dive into a couple more quick football questions here. In terms of his running ability, Dirk Cutter told us a long time ago he loves Maddux Madsen running the ball. Tough guy, 5, 6, 7 yards up the middle if he needs a long third down run. I believe Maddux Madsen had a better yards per carry average than Ashton Genty did in the game last week. He's not a Ashton Genty, but he is a good quarterback runner when he has to, and here's what his answer was about his running ability.
Yeah, 100%. I think I've noticed that, especially in the last couple of games of making more plays when it comes to using my feet. It's not something I like in the first thought of myself of like, I'm going to go run and make this play now, but it's instinct-wise and kind of stepping up and seeing lanes. And it's been a big deal, and I've enjoyed it. It's fun for me.
I know, Dirk's not going to call 10 QB runs, but do you think that is something that maybe you guys, whether it's an option here or there, just some things where you can kind of tap into that a little more, you think? Or?
Yeah, yes and no. I know he's mentioned like taking hits is kind of where I'm at now. I've got to avoid those unnecessary ones, but I enjoy running, but I also think we have the best running back in the country that kind of can do that job for him, for sure.
His running ability is certainly one skill. Not being sacked is another, that third eye in the back of his head. And that might be his greatest superpower, not getting those negative plays, not getting sacked. So I think it was you that asked this question, Johnny. Is not getting sacked a developed skill? And how is it working for you?
I think that kind of comes from knowing and understanding your worries and your issues, I guess, when it comes to protection wise, but also understanding like the feeling and instinctuality of like being in the position where guys are coming from helps for sure too. But our O-line's pretty great, and I'm extremely lucky to be in the position I am because those guys protect me like no other.
Maddux Madsen, like big picture, how is he growing this season? We're talking game 1, Georgia Southern, until today, right now. Maddux Madsen, big picture, where are you?
When it comes to football player, there are certain things in my game that I feel like have kind of raised, but I also think that comes from the confidence I've been able to build and the guys have been able to instill in me. And I think that you can add that right into the ability of leadership. I know I've grown as a leader just because of the confidence that I've kind of gained as well. And so I enjoy being here and around those guys, and I think that's what helps also too when it comes to the leadership aspect of it. If I can be a happy guy and enjoy that part of it, I think that kind of gives off to other people.
Where do you think you've gotten better? You said raised your game as a football player.
Yeah, I mean, I think the operation-wise has kind of come cleaner a little bit. Experience is a big thing in this level, and so I think that is 100%. Like playing multiple games is where I've been able to get better. I think throwing the ball and understanding like where I just mentioned like the whole sack thing. That's a big deal to me, and I take pride in. And those guys protect me, but knowing where my issues are for sure.
Again, Maddux Madsen met the entire Boise media today for about the first time in 2 months. It's the first time we've had a group interview with Maddux Madsen. It was kind of fun to catch up with him. And we talked about the mental part of his game. Cutter talks about it constantly. Spencer talks about it constantly. We know that Maddux had this background in high school, a leader, state champion, baseball, all that kind of stuff. So how do you put all that together? How do you handle critical moments in games and tough post-game situations like you find yourself in against Nevada the other night?
I don't know. I feel like mentally I'm pretty good, but physically for sure. I mean, it's easier to kind of look at something and fix that when it comes to physical wise than it is just thoughts brewing through your head for sure.
So what might you do to flush something like that or regain confidence or you meditate or I don't know what it is you do, but or maybe it is just easier for you to move on.
No, yeah. I mean, I'm a big believer in like chilling myself out with breaths when it comes to that stuff. I catch myself if I get too worked up about something. It comes like taking deep breaths, like a few, and then it's kind of a reset. But I also, at that point, I guess I kind of try and separate myself from what I've done and just kind of focus on something completely different, whether it's who I'm talking to or certain things like that.
Prater, overrated or underrated? Taking a deep breath.
Oh, highly underrated. Highly underrated.
See, I think they're overrated. Deep breaths don't really do anything for me. If I'm in crisis and I go, hey, go take a quick deep breath, then you'll feel better. I don't.
This is where we could put Johnny on the couch for 5 minutes and have an entirely different segment. You're kind of wired. You're kind of wired. Just go kind of guy.
Oh yeah.
I stop at least 5 minutes twice a day and isolate myself in darkness and breathe. And it's spectacular.
What? Oh, really? And you love this?
I do it every morning in my garage before I leave my car.
You just turn the lights off. You go
and
darkness.
Just sit there and I just breathe for 5 minutes. The breathing exercises, the mental clarity is, especially when you get to be my age. He's a 28-year-old kid or whatever the hell he is.
Yeah.
Playing football at a high level. I'm just a fat guy in my garage, but it helps. And it depends on who you are. Like people have asked me to get into hypnotics for certain issues that I have. I can't do it because I don't believe in it and I don't think it would work. Your breathing probably wouldn't work because it's hard, and I'm not criticizing. It's hard for you to sit. It's hard. You're a go, high intense, high energy kind of guy. I don't imagine Spencer Danielson does a lot of breathing exercises either.
Okay. Yeah.
But I love it. It makes a massive difference in my life.
It's working for Maddux Madsen there. Critical moments in games. Take a deep breath. Figure this thing out. What do you guys think? Deep breaths, overrated or underrated?
And even being proactive, like that moment of silence that every football player or every high-level athlete has in the locker room before they go out. Put the headphones on. For some people, silence, maybe, the music or something like that. I like complete total silence and the darkness part. But everybody kind of goes through that quiet mental routine when they go out there and do their thing. And I thought that was pretty cool.
Let's talk about the San Jose State defense a little bit, JP.
No, let's skip that one.
You want to skip? No San Jose State defense. How about Maddux Madsen? He talked earlier today about his Sunday routine. Remember, they get Sundays off here at Boise State. What's Maddux Madsen do with that day off?
Sundays is more of like a kind of chill reset, I would say. And then Sunday night, get a little bit. And then Monday morning is kind of where it just completely starts. But I like to not take a break from football, but kind of I don't really watch NFLs on Sundays just because it's like that's what I do every day of my life nowadays. So I got to get away from it at some point.
I guess
What do you do to relax?
I seriously just lay in my bed and phone, some movies, just stuff like that.
That's you. When he was giving that answer, I was thinking of you the whole time, ball game.
Thank you.
Because it's kind of your Sunday routine at home, but yours involves 14 hours of the NFL. And I was wondering how you process that answer.
It's hard for me to relate. Like, well,
When I come in on Mondays and tell you I didn't watch any NFL games, which happens in my life a lot, you give me the dirty stink eye.
I do not.
You do. It's like, how could you go on NFL Sunday without watching an NFL game? And Madison said he doesn't watch NFL games.
Yeah.
Did you give him the stink eye?
Just kind of thought, oh, really? You're not watching NFL? But I think I can imagine relating with him if he is doing football for 90 hours a week.
Yep.
He has the one day where he has off. That's it. His girlfriend, she, I don't know, she's in
We're
Provo.
getting there.
So he has other things to keep him interested in other stuff. But for me, like, I can't turn off sports. It's what I do for a living. I talk about it here 3 hours. And when I get home, I have to tough it out too. Real tough and follow sports. But that's nice that the doggy can just turn it off on Sundays, Prater.
Yeah, I like that part of it. All right, let's talk about speaking of Sunday routines. We didn't really buy that answer, so we grilled him a little bit more. And here all of a sudden, he's got a girlfriend, number 8 on the BYU women's soccer roster. Her name is Sierra Pennock. She is a junior midfielder. They went to high school about 8 miles apart. BYU is hosting Santa Clara in an NCAA tournament game on Friday night. So she scored. She scored a goal against Kansas. I think she scored a goal against Utah State. She's a player. I mean, Maddux Madsen calls her a baller, but here's our awkward exchange with Maddux Madsen about his girlfriend.
We knew each other in high school, so that's kind of where it came from. And then we started like talking again right before the season, and it's been cool to kind of see the other side of like a Division I athlete, and like we share seasons and stuff like that. And so it's cool to have like someone that I could sit and talk to about like struggles, good things that I also know that she's kind of gone through that too. And it's fun to watch her. That's one of my favorite things is like sitting there and being able to like watch her and support her. I've never been a soccer fan like that. And so it's fun now for me.
How do you get to go to many games, or she come to many games, or how does that work? Because you guys are both playing.
Yeah.
I think maybe the bye week or something.
Yeah, I was able for the bye week, both of the bye weeks that we had. It turned out so luckily that she was home both of those times, so I got to watch both those games. And then she's actually a trooper when it comes to like supporting. I think she's been at every home game except for one, because they have Sundays off, and so like she'll come up Saturdays after practice and make it just in time for the game, and then head back Sunday night for Monday practice. So she's a trooper when it comes to that stuff, and I appreciate that for sure.
She's a trooper ball
where
game.
are we going with
She's
this?
a trooper ball game.
Where are we going?
I just think it's a cool athletic thing. And the fact that you can, I mean, the two high-powered Division I athletes doing pretty decently in life and in athletics, just kind of feeding off each other. And it takes a village these days. And it sounds like that's a pretty cool part of Maddux Madsen's village.
Yeah, that's a big soccer game too. BYU Santa Clara in a playoff game, NCAA
tournament,
on Friday night, NCAA tournament. I mean, Madsen's there to support her as well. It's just so Mad Dog said there that they got back in touch. They were friends in high school. They got back in touch before the season started, and one thing led to another. It's one of the great coincidences in life. One of the great examples of happenstance. It really is. Of shortly after you're named starting quarterback. It's so weird how all of a sudden, like, Prater, you know where I'm going.
I'm not going there. I'm not going there. You can go there all you want. I'm not going there.
I don't know anything about this situation, and I'm kidding about that. But, I mean, the quarterback the quarterback never has female issues if he doesn't want them, right? Does that make sense?
I'm not going there either.
I mean, I'm just like,
ball game. Take a commercial break.
Like the quarterback gets the girls. That's what you want to say.
Yeah. I mean, I guess that'll get there. Dollar Loan Center video segment. Appreciate you guys, Prater and the ball game. Sexiest man in sports. Okay, they say John Krasinski's the sexiest man alive. People Magazine.
Who?
What about sports? Who? Right? Who's the sexiest man in sports? Phone lines open. Please, we will dare you fellas to call us and show us your manhood and tell us who the sexiest man in sports is. Prater on the ball game.
From the Beacon Plumbing Traffic Studios, this is Ticket Traffic.